Alright guys, it's the end of May and it's been an extremely busy month. Good month, but busy. The beginning of the month I went down to Milwaukee to check out the Tool Symposium, so you can check that video out. Thank you for all the good comments on that. The last half of the month, Stefan and I went down to Bowling Green, Kentucky, where we went for our Holly training. We had 4 days in between the 3 tiers that we had nothing to do, so we stripped some trucks. Great video coming out on that. That'll be out this Sunday, but in doing so, that kept me out of the shop as well. But a lot of stuff has been happening in the shop, so we'll take you for a tour through the shop. But before we get through the shop, there's a few events that we plan on attending. Mudcat, a big celebration in town here, is June 7th to the 9th. We're not putting a float in this year, but we'll be around the event. We'll probably be hanging around close to Tuesday. He's gonna have a booth probably at the car show, but stick around to find out exactly where and when we're gonna be if you wanna meet up. Instagram is still the best up-to-date place to find out where we're going to be. June 24th is CSCS at Toronto Motorsports Park. We'll have a few cars there. The Mercedes wagon will be there. Mercedes diesel might be there if I think it's funny enough or clean it up. Got some small plans for that, and another car that we think is pretty special. Not yet, but it's actually a lot of stuff happening, so stick around for that. But definitely, if you're wondering, our full calendar is on our website. Check out the events, and every event that we plan to be there is on there. Now, things change, so Instagram is still our best way to kind of find out where we are, even at the events, where we are at that time, if you want to meet up there. But we hope to see you guys there at any one of those events. We love meeting you guys. Met a bunch of you guys down in Bowling Green. It was awesome, just chatting with complete strangers like we're friends because we've got cars in common. So yeah, anyway, let's take you through the shop. So this is the 454 out of our 91 SS. Now I had a lot of comments about this. Kind of messed up on this, and I don't like bringing projects all tore apart to somebody else, just like I don't really like getting them in when somebody else has already disassembled them. So I thought I'd take the 454 out of the 91 and just bring it straight to him, say take a look at it. He's backlogged, so it took him about 6-7 weeks to open it up. All he did was pull the head off and found this. So not good, because there's a giant gouge in the cylinder, and basically this block, the crank might be okay. No, the crank is screwed too. Crank is screwed, the block is screwed, and basically the heads are probably salvageable, but this block is no good. So where's my other block? We've got a block out of a motorhome. This video is coming up later. We compression tested it. It only had 30,000 kilometers on it, and we also pulled the plastic gauge, the bearings. The bearings clearance is really good, but the bearings don't look great, so we're doing a bearing roll on it. We're putting all the 454 SS stuff onto this block. Unfortunately, it's only a 2-bolt main, but we could, by the time we rebuild that engine, it's going to be worth more than that truck will ever be worth. So we'll put this engine in. This is not a daily, it is a 7.4 liter. Fuel is going through the roof. So this is a toy, and this one will be perfect for that. This engine right here is out of our Studebaker crew cab truck. It's not crew cabs, 4-door, suicide doors at the back. I'm refreshening this engine up, and somebody else is doing all the body work on the cab itself. It's in the house garage. Not going to show it to you yet. This project started, I think, before RT Baker was actually done. So and that has nothing to do with me. That's just the time it takes to collect parts and get your dreams and finances in order to get this built. This one probably won't be running and moving with paint on it until Christmas time. So stick around for that. It's basically just to freshen up on a Cummins. You've seen me do that before. I'll introduce the Studebaker truck later. It's a pretty cool truck. It needs a lot of work. I basically have to take the interior out of the 91 truck, the steering column, all that fun stuff, steering, brakes, all that, put it into the Studebaker truck, and then we're putting a nice interior in it and painting it. So if you follow me on Instagram, there's a couple posts on it, but until we have like a full accumulation of videos, nothing's really happening to that. This is the block that we pulled all the guts out of from V&R. The water jackets were full of rust, so I put this in a molasses tank for a couple weeks, and it turned out really nice. So we'll probably throw a bunch of guts back into this, and just for the sake of having an LS, this is a iron block that we're gonna turn into another 4.8, I think. We're not sure, but I had to do something with it. The Mercedes. Lots of stuff happening with the Mercedes. Working away at it. I changed my mind on a pile of stuff and realized a few more things that I did wrong. Things like the cam sensor on the front, even though it has the plug to feed into your normal harness, because we are using a 2001 computer, GM actually switches the two wires on the outside of the cam sensor. Little things like that are kind of important. It's running. I still have to figure out the miss on number 2. I'm getting there. I'm redoing the interior, changing a couple of gauges over, and then it's going off to the transmission shop, but the video will be coming up on this very, very soon. It is leaving off the hoist, and actually I'm feeling much, much better about this build, but at the same time I'm building it in my own quiet time with the doors locked and really focusing on this, because I don't want this to become a nightmare more than it already has. The GTO, I had to do a little bit of welding, yep. I did it on this nice corner. I filled this all in nice, so this was an open gap here. It was rough here. I was working away on this nicely on a Sunday afternoon, and then I ran out of gas for my welder, and my welding shop is not open on weekends. So I was not able to do this side. So this is what it looked like before. Just a big open hole here, so you can see if you can compare the right to the left. Once this is done, I have the paint for the bottom, and the inside we'll be painting the bottom black, the inside black. We've got the insulation on its way, and that will be getting paint soon, because I have to do a paint job on a door for RV drive-away. Quick job. Bashed up door on the driver's side. We got a gray one from Tuesley. It needs to be white. So once I prime that, I'll prime this, and then I just kind of get into my painting thing. I want to get the Mercedes out of the shop. I want to get the Audi covered up. My workbench is covered up, and then we can splash some paint. The exhaust is almost done at Lyle's. They're super busy too. So even I dropped the Benz off to get the tailpipes done over the axle. So Rob is going to be doing that this weekend. The rad is almost done. That is at the rad shop in town. So we redid the core on the original rad. I forget what kind of make it is, but then it stays true. This corner of the shop is still kind of messy. I had to clean that up a little bit after I cleaned up all my parts. On this side of the shop is much better. Now I know you guys saying there's a lot of clutter on the bench. That's all the Audi stuff that's going on the car. So we're nailing the Audi. We're going down as hard and fast as we can next week. The Mercedes is still first. So we're grabbing a couple more parts that we're waiting for. There's some stuff waiting for us at the border. When Stefan and I crossed, it was late. The place was closed, so I have to make my way over to grab the slave cylinder, and then we can start assembling it again. I'm glad we didn't, though. I'm more than likely going to put it back on the rotisserie, because there's a lot of stuff that I realized could be done better, and we'll take you guys exactly through that. The fuel system, the wastegates, the way we're going to do the exhaust. I realized we didn't get much turbo noises, and that's because the intakes are actually pointing into the air dam. So the air comes in, it takes all those really nice whining turbo noises and slams them through the intercooler and rad, and we don't hear the nice whistle. So I'm going to be taking this pillar out, and we're going to be turning them around and putting little vents here just for the intake, and we'll still be incorporating the scoop for the radiator and that at the back. Still need to do the plumbing on our dump and everything at the back. It's all coming together nice. A lot of stuff going on in the head. Stefan's finishing up a big job at his place while I finish up the Mercedes, and then we're going full tilt on the Audi as well. In the meantime, there's those little jobs that take up, that still actually pay the bills. So a couple days to pay the bills, a couple days to finish off our project. That's it for now, I think. Outside is the, if you remember our body swap truck, we finally got a dash in for that. So we pulled the dash back out again, put a new dash pad on top. And then I had a tranny leak, so we're fixing that, got it running, and it's off to get a back window put in and then I don't know what his plans are for painting it, but the dash pad video will be coming up soon. The rest of the driveway is pretty empty actually. I'm feeling much calmer about the projects. We should be able to start the C10 in another month or so. Shavam Boyd, check him out on Instagram. He is doing a rendering for us, so you guys kind of get a feel of what I have in mind. It was good to get away for a little bit. We still tried to make a little bit of money by bringing back some Southern Rust parts. Really look out for that video on Holly on Sunday, because it should be a really funny one. All right, so we've had a lot of new subscribers lately, and just kind of want to go over what we're trying to do here at the Deboss Garage. Basically, our little motto is, if you're not filthy, you're not rich. And what we mean by that is we want to empower you guys to be able to have the confidence to tackle your own projects, whether it be fix something that's broken or build something cool and extreme. Dirty hands make clean money, and at the end of the day, if you take an engine from something, put it in something else radical, and you pull up beside a $400,000 supercar, more people will be interested in your ride than somebody who's able to sign on the dotted lines. We know that we love our cars more than purists. We love many cars. We love 5-6 cars at a time. That's why we take the best of those 5 cars and trucks and put them into one and build your own. Look, there's no manuals for what we do. We took an LS swapped Audi Quattro with two-stage diesel turbos and somehow went racing on the Daytona track. I'm kind of nuts. Now, I've had a lot of questions. Do you know anybody in my area who does what you do? No, I honestly don't. What we do have is a Facebook group of about 1,500 members. Great guys there if you've got technical question, lots of guys there to help you out, and that's what we're kind of all about. We're kind of making this up as we go along, but in the meantime, we've built a giant community. A community that empowers each other, helps each other out, and shares our projects with each other. Now, a lot of you guys have been super awesome by helping us out on Patreon. Now, Patreon allows us to do stuff that we normally would never be able to do. Half the projects in the shop are for us, the other half are for paying customers. A lot of the jobs that don't make it to air are for customers that are taking up my time from projects, because that's what actually pays the bill. A little extra income from Patreon if you believe in what we do, if you enjoy what we do, if you've got some information out of it that saved you some money. That cash allows us to do crazy stuff like build the Audi. That allows us to build the project so much more into what we hope it can actually be. We hope to keep going with crazy builds. We hope to be able to bring in enough income that we can start turning away the small jobs, the brake jobs, the injector changes in Cummins, the ones that we've already made videos on. I'm not gonna make more videos on it, but that's what actually pays the bills right now. So check out Patreon. There's a lot of perks to it. It gives you one-on-one conversations with me to get my personal opinion or advice. I will do my best to help you guys out there. We do polls over there as to what the next project should be, funny stuff here and there, and we're able to grow that as we grow as a channel. We do live chats once a month. We haven't done it this month. We're doing it after we do the Holly video, so if you guys have any questions on what was going on there or Holly specifically, we'll do that. We're kind of trying to revamp that maybe. We could use your input on that, whether we should start turning it into more of a podcast. Right now, we're still small enough to answer everybody's questions, and we really like that. I just like building cool stuff. I'm not bound on bent on putting the Mercedes diesel into the convertible. It can go in the Jeep. The convertible can get a TDI, whatever. We have the connections and the sources to get those parts together. We just need a little bit more time and being able to keep the lights on to make those projects happen. And Patreon gives you guys that vote and gives us the opportunity to do that. So we just want to thank our patrons that are helping us now. Even if you don't feel like supporting us on Patreon, either way, it's very much appreciated, so thank you. So that brings us to the end. We've said a lot. Again, we want to thank everybody for watching and for helping us out. None of this would be happening without you. Aaron's got to go home and edit this. It's late, it's dark, it's time for me to call it a night. Thanks again for watching. Remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich. Stay filthy, and here we go.